Tonight on the Eyrie, we discuss the rumours and minglings going on with the Ospreys this week, but mainly rejoice in beating the Dragons out of nowhere. Stay tuned. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joined by Jack and Josh. As always, how are we doing, gents?
I was doing good up until about an hour before recording, and yeah,
Yeah,
bit
I
disappointed.
second that. I am pretty much the same.
It's been a pretty turbulent day. And I certainly started it by being all over the place and thinking, you know what, I'm looking forward to the Six Nations for some reason, and all that hope has disappeared pretty quickly. We'll start off then with a few bits of good news. So it's a bit murky in the context, but probably most notably, Gavin Phillips has signed a new deal. The 25-year-old has committed his future for at least the next year and a half to the club, which is nice to see. He's really kicked on this season, hasn't he, gents? Certainly his performance against Cardiff was quite standout almost.
Look, he threw up all over the pitch because he put so much effort into a match. Sign him up for another year, definitely. No, he's been really good. He's played really well, and I'm excited. I think his ceiling is very high. He's a big boy, really good over the ball at the breakdown as well. Um, and yeah, as I just said, puts a lot of effort in, so much so that a few days after Christmas of New Year's was it? He's emptying his contents of his stomach out on the pitch. So fair play to him, and hopefully he can develop further, and we can see more of him in that Ospreys front row.
It'd be nice to. He's really kicked on this season. Very happy to see him stay at least for a little bit longer. The other piece of news is Reece Davies has been called up to the Wales squad after Steve Tandy realised he selected four locks, two of which are injured. Well deserved. He looks like a international quality second row every time he plays for us. It's nice to see him finally get, hopefully, a look in the Six Nations after however many years of deserving it.
Yeah, it's a Mike Bassett moment from Steve Tandy, isn't it? Supposed to read his name out on the back of a fag packet, then realized it wasn't there, and then thought, "Oh shit, better call him up afterwards." Actually, I think everyone thought he should have been there anyway. I think he's got that point of difference, which is he loves throwing people around. So yeah, he's big, he's mean, he's nasty, and hopefully he gets some game time for Wales and puts his best foot forward because I think he should have been there from the start anyway, as you said.
I'm sure we'll get on to some Welsh chat in a bit, but it's nice to see him get a look in, at least finally. Hopefully, really nail down a jersey, either that 19 or that 5, quite frankly.
It's a shame that Benson and Hedges missed out, but
Let's move on to some of the bigger things. There's been two statements put out this week, one more recently, but we'll start with the older one. The supporters club of the Osprey Supporters Club, CF10, and the Dragon Supporters Club all put out a joint statement earlier in the week, effectively asking or putting out a petition to anyone who's involved, stating three of the Welsh rugby supporters clubs has backed the launch of a petition calling time on the Welsh Rugby Union's proposed restructuring of a professional game, including plans to reduce the number of men's league teams from three to four. The petition, backed by OSC, CF10, DOSC, comes amid a fierce, widespread backlash to suspicions that Ospreys could be axed as a professional team. More on that later. Criticism of the WRU's plans come from supporters, players, and even political leaders. It goes on for a while, but they've been putting a petition out from three supporters clubs. Notably, Chris Tens was not anywhere to be seen. It seems like the Scarlets, not the supporters club, not keen on the messaging. Is there anything to read into that, boys?
Colloquialism still alive and well in West Wales. Uh, or maybe it got lost in his emails. Who knows? Their emails. If it's if it's been decided that they're just not particularly asked about the Ospreys surviving, it's really really disappointing. Um, I think that it's all very well and good having that rivalry and whatnot on the pitch, but we're talking about people's livelihoods, we're talking about people's teams, we're talking about communities, we're talking about rugby in the area. Um, I hope it's not a purely self-serving decision that they've made there to think, oh, well, if we get rid of professional rugby in that part of West Wales, then we'll have more players and bigger fan base and whatnot. Because I, for one, would probably rather support a team full of Henry Pollock and Andy Goods than watch the Scarlets win from now on if that is the attitude they've got towards it. And I put it out there, but they are entitled to have their opinion. So there we go. And I'm sure there is a reason for why they're there, or they haven't signed it. I'll put it out.
Yeah, I think from my perspective, if it's a self-preservation thing, then I think it falls straight back on the WRU as to why they haven't signed it. I mean, they've created a culture where they've said one team's going to survive in the West, and if they sign this thing, what they're actively saying is brilliant. Let's go to tender, and 50-50, we might end up ceasing to exist. So from that perspective, I put the blame more on the WRU than I do anyone else, rather than anyone at Scarlets. But if it's a case of, well, we want to go down to free because that means more funding for us, then I have an issue with it. But if I'm honest, it probably falls into the first camp. In which case, I do have some sympathy, but it is a shame that as clubs we can't just stick together. But I think at this point they've made themselves very clear, and they're in self-preservation mode.
It just feels a bit petty, almost. It's a very petulant thing to do. I get being concerned about your safety, but actively calling for free means that who's going to be in the chopping box if this Y11 deal does fall through in some miraculous outcome? Are they the Scarlets going to be off the next on the chopping block? The Dragons? Probably not. It's definitely not going to be Cardiff.
I mean, yeah, I agree, but we got to remember as well, our CEO was calling for free in a meeting with supporters not that long ago, and there wasn't massive outrage as far as I know amongst as far as I could tell at the time amongst our supporters. There wasn't massive outrage over free. It just so happens now. I'm playing devil's advocate, but it just so happens now that we look like we might be the one losing out, and then suddenly it's like, oh no, wait, we don't want free. We should have four. Just to play
Yeah,
devil's advocate.
yeah, but on the other side of that, like how much of what Lance Bradley has said concerning the Ospreys and mergers has been a crock of shit for the last few months. So, and again, I'm not attacking him personally, but in terms of his messaging around what's been going on, and I'm sure we'll get on to more of that in a bit.
Yeah.
I, you know, to bring it back to Mike Bassett, he'd be selling you a shotgun used car at some point.
Yeah, he's not come out of this with much light, I would say. And if he was, I don't know, if rumours to be believed, and he's meant to be the new CEO of Cardiff, I think he might be chased out of Wales potentially before that even happens.
He'd be on a very long holiday, let's put it that way. He's on holiday now, isn't he? Or is he back yet? I don't know.
He's always on holiday somewhere.
Yeah. I just to go back, I do think that like obviously the this is a symptom of WRU decisions being made, but I think it's a time for fans to come together and be bold and to be strong. And when you've got like even like people like Jonathan Davis, who are ex-Scarlets players and whatnot, coming out and saying they think it's atrocious and they and so on. I think it's disappointing that the fans don't also mirror that. It's a lack of empathy, or it seems like a lack of empathy towards us. And when you consider the Dragons, who could have easily have not got involved as well, because they could have easily turned and go, no, we're not getting involved, and they did. It makes you question the kind of the decision that's been made there, and it's just disappointing, really, isn't it? That is the way it's transpired. Um, and yeah, I think what adds to that is obviously like the rivalry on the pitch and so on. But I would have always liked to have thought that that would have, you kind of like to have that rivalry, you need the two teams. Who's going to be the rivals now? Where's that game going to come from? Who are they going to play across the Locher Bridge? They're going to be very isolated down there. But yeah,
They're gonna, I must say, they're gonna really enjoy the Boxing Day game in Cebu.
yeah,
Who wants to have a Boxing Day derby in Georgia?
yeah.
It's
So yeah,
this is a time to stand together as fans of the regional game at this point. It's either now or never.
yeah.
I will put the statement and the petition in the description. If you haven't signed it, I can wholeheartedly encourage you to do so, even if it's just to show your voice.
It makes me think of that old poem, doesn't it? Which is like the chip shop. First they came for the doctors, then they came for and then they came for my neighbors, and when they finally came for me, there was no one to speak out for me. And who's to say the WRU aren't going to come for them at some point as well, and just have two regions in the end? Because we don't know. And given the way this is all being conducted, and given the way that everything has been done, it wouldn't be surprising if in 3 years' time they turned around, or 2 years' time, whatever, and said, "Oh, actually, the Scarlet's not a viable business either. We need to cut that and have two, and then we're going to go and join the English Prem, whatever, because they only want two teams and not the three." Who knows? So, you know, I think it's important that you nail your colours to the mast now in terms of what you think and where you go, essentially. But yeah.
Let's move on to the big piece of news that dropped an hour before we started recording today, in which the Swansea County Council put out a statement regarding their meeting with the WRU and Y11 in the last few weeks. To quote what was posted by Nick from a rap in our chat, I'm pretty sure it came straight off Facebook, although I haven't been able to verify. Swansea Council today has released key details from a recent meeting with WRU and the Ospreys, where they outlined proposals on the future of regional rugby in Wales. The council has also issued pre-action legal letters for WRU and Y11 owners of the Ospreys, calling for an immediate pause for the current restructure of Welsh rugby. The meeting took place last week on the 22nd of January, 2 weeks ago even, between the leader of County Council, 5 senior council officers, Abby Tierney, Lance Bradley, and on Lance Bradley's request. While the council has intended to publish its full minutes, Y11, Ospreys, and WU have all objected to doing so in order to be constructive, minimise the risk of unnecessary disputes, and avoid delaying vital information reaching the public. The council has decided to release only the key facts, which it believes is clearly to be public interest to disclose. During the meeting, WRU confirmed its position that Welsh regional teams would be reduced from 3 to 4. It's also confirmed that Y11, the owners of the Ospreys, are the preferred bidders for Cardiff Rugby, with 60-day due diligence already underway. Mr. Lance Bradley outlined the Ospreys' intended direction should be Y11 of acquisition of Cardiff proceed. There would not be a professional Ospreys team playing in rugby at St Helens after the 26-27 season. They envision a potential merger with Swansea RFC after the 26-27 season, with a merged team playing in the SRC rather than the URC. On the footing, there'd be no regional rugby in St Helens. Abby Tierney explained that there could be potential alternative rugby uses for St Helens, the details of which remain confidential, but there's rumours about both a professional women's team and it being used as a base for the under-20s. The council representatives left the meeting with a clear understanding of the basis of the WRU and Y-Level's position for the future. If the acquisition of rugby Y11 was completed was that the Ospreys would not continue as a professional regional team after 26-27. I think that's a big point in that it's pretty clear that WRU are going to kill us. There's no if, buts, and maybes anymore. Potentially, Ospreys staying along past next season. It's all a bit fucks
Yeah,
at this
the
point.
the whole thing's a joke. Um, Not a joke in terms of like, oh, they want to get rid of the team. They've made that clear.
Yeah.
I think actually, like Lance Bradley, again, don't know him as a human being, don't know him as a person, no personal attacks here at all. Like, he must have known this. The fact that he came out after the first time around, they said, "Oh, you're all being shafted," essentially. It was like, "Oh, that's not what was said. You'll find out." And now they've released this, and it's exactly what was said. Like he's got some questions to answer to the fans in terms of like his the way he's communicated and what he's done. And I understand that we're going to sit here and I'm sure that you can say, well, you can't come out and say that they're definitely buying them. You can't say what the processes are and so on. But like also maybe just be quiet instead of saying, no, you don't know what the plans are. Like it's not, it will all come clear soon. Maybe at this point, just say it. Just say, you know what, there's not going to be a team here past 26, 27, whatever. Like, because I'm looking at this from a fan point of view. I'm not looking at it from a business point of view. I understand it from a business point of view in terms of sponsorships and so on. But sponsorships aren't going to want to get involved anyway while there is these questions there. So, you know, to use the term again, it's just a crock of shit. And like from to then turn around and say, "Oh, you know what we'll do? We'll put a women's team in Swansea to as some like and offer them up as like a replacement," is really really unfair. It's really unfair because the big thing is that like what you want to do is you want to kind of grow the game. You want to grow the women's game. It's important to do so. And like there is while it's changing and there are people out there who have what I would call archaic views towards women's sport. And to just dump a team that is newly professional into what is going to be an incredibly hostile situation and expect them, you know, to be like, okay, yeah, now you've got to generate the support. Now you've got to create a brand. Now you have to like pick up the slack for the shit decisions that have been made by the governing body. It's not exactly what you would want if you were looking for excitement around, and there should be excitement around the first professional female teams in Wales, like or women's teams, I should say, sorry. And so yeah, it on so many levels. For me, that is just putting so many people in a really shit situation. Like, and it's clearly just not really been very well thought through. But there you go. I don't know. Josh, you're the voice of reason on these things.
Oh, I'm really not. I think you've pretty much nailed it, to be honest. I don't think I can add too much more to that. I'm of the same opinion. I feel like I've gone through all the stages now, and it's just like death by a thousand cuts at this point. Uh, yeah, I almost feel not apathetic, but a little bit apathetic because I'm like, I feel like it's been brewing and brewing and brewing for so long, and nothing really surprises me. Um, the fact that they went to a meeting and expected the council still to put millions into a team um, that they knew wasn't going to have men's professional rugby, like in all likelihood, and the women's game's growing, and that's amazing and that's great. Um, but it's also not at the moment very profitable. If you look at a lot of the PWR clubs, it's still growing and it's still in that early stage. And I'm saying the men's game, in all honesty, isn't that profitable either. But if you're looking at that, you're like, well, if the council are then putting money into this asset, they need they need assurances that money's going to be paid back. And if you've got owners in Y11, you have some assurances that you can pay the money back. If Y11 aren't involved and it's just a women's team there, who are the owners? Who are going to back the financial interest, and who are going to pay back the council? Um, and also, as you say, I just think it's totally unfair for the women's team, I agree with you on that wholeheartedly. That it's putting them on a really tough footing because people have long memories and they're going to remember that the women's team is not at the expense of the men's team, but almost like it's replacing the men's team. Um, which is it's
That's precisely it, isn't it? It should be in complement to these two things are separate and they're both incredibly important. But by turning around and saying, "Oh well, we'll get rid of the Ospreys, but we'll offer you up a professional women's team," Abby Turney's essentially put that position out there, so to speak, to make it feel like it's a replacement when that's never the case and should never be the
It
case.
it almost feels like they're using the women's team as a scapegoat to
Yeah.
justify cutting the Ospreys. Like we want to fund our women's program better, so we're going to cut a region. It's like no, you can just fund your women's program better. The money is there. The women's game is probably the largest growing section of rugby comfortably, and there's so much unrealized potential. Not investing in it more would be dumb, quite frankly. But the way they're doing it by then framing it and cutting a men's team just feels really it just feels stupid. It feels like they're throwing them under the bus before they even get a chance to run.
yeah. And yeah, it feels wrong. It almost feels a bit manipulative in a way. Um, and also, I just come back to, I know this is not a women's rugby podcast, but there are so many easy wins that the WRU could take. They're starting from such a low bar in terms of the support they've given the women's team. I mean, it was only a couple of years ago that they were forcing them to sign contracts in the next 24 hours or they're going to be pulled off the table. I mean, that's an easy starting point. Don't do that. Don't don't basically hold people's livelihoods over their head and give them that set time period. That's an easy win in itself. Um, but yeah, I digress. Yeah, I think the fact that Abby Tierney went to a meeting with the council thinking that was a reasonable explanation as to why they should still develop St Helens is shocking and shows really poor business acumen that she thought that would be a reasonable explanation.
But it's also two completely separate things. Do you see, like
Yeah.
it's like we're talking about the loss of jobs, we're talking about like the loss of a team. We're not talking about like what we can add to the region. It would be a massive bonus to the region. But that's not the conversations that in my opinion should be had at that point. It should just be turn around saying, what are you doing with all these jobs? What are you doing with all these people? What are you doing with all these fans? To kind of, as you said, kind of like jam in, like, well, we're going to have a semi-professional SRC team. Like, what, a Y11 going to be involved in that? Called the Osprey, the White Osprey or something? And then maybe we'll put a women's rugby team there as well. And we're going to essentially put all these people out of a job and so on. And you're sitting there going, well, all you've kind of really done there is put this new SRC team and the proposed women's team in a shit position. And like you've not answered any of the questions really in terms of like what the plan is for the coaches, for the fans, for the physios and so on. You just it's almost like why would you bring that into the meeting like at all? Like to me anyway, these would be like two separate conversations, which is what's the future of the Ospreys and what a Y11 playing at and are we investing in the stadium or not? And then after that, if the answer is like, well, if they buy Cardiff, no. Well, what happens? Are they rolling the Ospreys into Cardiff? But it's still like not like those questions answered. They just turn around and said, "Oh, well, we have some plans to keep rugby in the area." Like, I don't know if you see
Yeah.
what I'm getting at. It's just like I'm
Mm.
probably not. I'm probably not. I haven't had time to structure this as well as I would have liked to. But like, yeah, it just seems so. Again, it seems haphazard and thrown out there without thinking about the results it would have on all the different kind of stakeholders in that fucking statement, you know?
Yeah. I just think it goes back like in terms of how they've handled this whole thing. I don't think they could have handled it worse in a way. So as an Ospreys fan, I don't think they could have made me more angry, more upset, more disillusioned than they have. Um, they've, to me, all the statements I've seen, they've made it very clear that Cardiff are going to be a separate entity. And the facts that we've got so far in terms of what the council have come out with is that if Y11 by Cardiff, Y11 will not own the Ospreys, and there will be no more professional rugby in Swansea. So as a male rugby player growing up in the Swansea, in Neath, in Aberavon, in all the surrounding Australia region, what professional team have you got to aspire to? You haven't, and the semi-pro team is not going to do the same. And by also on a side point, by merging Swansea Ospreys and having a Swansea Ospreys team playing in Swansea, you're killing off Swansea because their history is as Swansea RFC. So that is at least when they were in the SRC, they had that history. And you're killing off the Ospreys. The Ospreys are not a semi-professional entity. They're a professional entity. They're not the same anymore. You've killed off that brand. So doing this half-half thing does not work. It doesn't work.
Yeah. And what I find interesting about that is Collier Keywood was out there making those statements about, oh, people follow, they don't like follow like teams anymore, and oh, like they only follow individuals and whatever it is. Like revamping the SRC and expecting people to go to watch the All Whites or what should be the All Whites or Aberavon is leaning towards like my generation and my dad's generation and remember like that club rugby. Like it's not leaning towards like the youth of today, like in the region and in the area. It makes no sense to on the one hand be saying, oh, they're not interested in teams and legacy anymore. What they're interested is in people. To then offer up to such a large section, Wales' second city, like, oh, here's a club team playing all the other club teams that you might remember from the late 90s, early 2000s, and so on. Like, it doesn't. It it's contradictory to the statements that he made previously about how fans and young fans aren't asked anymore about that. So
Yeah.
what?
And if fans are now following players, well, their two best players are now playing in England,
Which is apparently fine, which is
which is
apparently
apparently a good
expected.
thing
Yeah,
because the setup's better in England apparently. So why don't they bin off the 25 cap rule and let all their players go play in England and they'll all get better?
it's just yeah.
There's no joined up thinking there.
Getting more angry about it as we speak.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. When I found out the news, you know how your mind just kind of like whirls and then goes into different directions, and you're getting angrier at every single dead
Yeah,
end. It's
like
just like,
honestly, if
oh,
everyone's listening to the pod, they're hearing my internal monologue coming out of my mouth right now.
that's the thing because we're reacting kind of like straight off the bat. We haven't had time to sort of like process our thoughts and put them into
Yeah,
sort
I haven't had an opportunity to put the F word into the group chat about 1,000 times. Like,
oh yeah,
It's just. I don't think I've seen a bigger display of incompetence in the 24 years I've been following rugby. Well, my entire life. There's not been something quite so guiltily edged and just
I
out
don't
of
know.
touch.
Is it worse than Bergamasco at scrum half?
Mm,
Those are the
mm,
questions.
mm.
That was pretty incompetent.
Actually, I will one up myself. It's not worse than Blair Murray's trim against the Stormers earlier this year. That was something I don't ever want to see again. Uh, on top of the statement, the council did also let us know what legal action and why they were taking legal action under what grounds. Obviously, they're looking to their in the pre-action letter, the council states WRU's decision to cut professional times from 4 to 3 is by nature a restriction of competition and has not been carried out in a fair, transparent, or non-discriminatory way. We're arguing that the process for allocating regional licenses creates an unfair distortion, effectively protecting Cardiff and Dragons while disadvantaging the Ospreys, which, yeah, that's pretty nail on the head. With WRU's ownership of Cardiff at the time of these decisions creates a clear conflict of interest, further compounded by its willingness to allow Y11 already owners of the Ospreys to become preferred bidders for Cardiff, which is maybe doesn't hold any legal grounding, but it's certainly worth mentioning. The arrangement only appears to rely on understanding that Ospreys would withdraw from competing for a regional license, an outcome that is both anti-competitive and unlawful, as argued by the council themselves. The council will suffer loss as a result of these acts. Notably, they'll lose money by coming into the economy by the notion of Ospreys leaving Swansea, and hence submitting action. They want taking a step to demonstrate clear and unwavering support for players across Welsh rugby, particularly those, including Ospreys, who are preparing to represent Wales in this weekend's Six Nations. It's it's nice to know that there's at least some legs to stand on legally to still trying to stop this, but it's still looking quite bleak, and I'm not encouraged. I don't see a way at the end of 2027 season where we'll know either way.
I think, yeah, I think the best case scenario for the council is probably they recoup their costs and any money they've already invested into the St Helens development, because I know they've already basically procured stands for it. They put a lot of planning in place. There's a lot of time allocated and spent against it, so they'll recoup that. Well done, WRU. That's another potential, yeah,
£1 million.
six-figure, seven-figure sum. Yeah, they'll have to probably pay back to the council. But in terms of what that means for us, I don't think that really helps us too much, really. Yeah.
It's just sad.
Hopefully, there's someone out there who's pretty litigious who's just going to send loads and loads and loads of letters. I don't know. Like,
Someone get ChatGPT to do it.
yeah,
It's disappointing.
feeling pretty deflated, to be honest.
That Shall we talk about some rugby?
Yeah, yeah.
But there was some good things that happened this weekend. Josh is less excited.
Does Josh look better or worse than I did when I was absolutely hanging on this podcast?
Josh, did you spend your afternoon at a free bar perchance? Wouldn't blame you if you had.
Honestly, I don't even. Problem is, like, going through all the news and stuff. Like, I really enjoyed the game, but I'm just like, really struggling, really struggling. So, Garen Phillips re-signed. Oh, brilliant.
Resigned to what, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I really like Garen Phillips as well. I really rate him, but I'm just really struggling to get excited by anything because I'm just know what's happening after in the next year.
Yeah, we get to probably preview the Wales England game after that as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's a bit strong.
Yeah, I've got some hot takes on that anyway, so we could all look forward to it.
Yeah,
I'm actually looking forward to that, to be fair.
Let's talk about the rugby that happened this weekend.
Right.
Miraculously, the Ospreys won a game of rugby under all the circumstances going on around. Even better, it was a Welsh derby, of which obviously naturally none of the WRU board members, other than Jamie Roberts, who was on comms and looked very uncomfortable the entire time, was there. He looked very uncomfortable. It was very funny. A big result. Game was pretty shit. It was very Welsh derby, rain, Christmas, miserable. It started off with the Ospreys going 7-0 down after about 20 minutes. Teams to beer getting through after the Dragons had pressure in R22 for the best part of 10 minutes.
Another completely pointless overseas signing.
Naturally. We then countered about 15 minutes later when Ruben Morgan-Williams snipes from the baseline ruck on the 33rd minute going to half-time. 7-0. It was certainly one for the purists. In the second half, Dragons started to pull away, just nicking off penalties from about 45 metres out. Angus O'Brien brought his kicking boots, fair play to him, and conceded to go over. And we looked a bit stuck until Dragons defence was certainly doing enough. We were in the 22 pretty much the entire time, of which until Sibo Diamani got a yellow card for a high shot on Harry Houston on the counter, at which point we kicked to the corner. Lewis Lloyd goes over to make it 12-13. And then in the 80th minute, after dragging it down to 13 just because of uncontested scrum laws, Keelan Giles goes over to win it. It was a game of all time. Is there any better way to describe it than just a little bit shit?
Uh, Low on quality, high on excitement. Isn't that
Yeah.
the, isn't that I think that would be a way of saying it. But I think there was a few players that go, Yeston Hopkins still, quite, well, I don't think it's quietly anymore. Going about his business so well at the moment. Like, I
His high ball work is so good.
yeah, but carried well, line breaks were good. Like, yeah, I thought he was really, really good, and I think he's been really good for a few months now. Quietly come onto it. Yeah, but it's what you'd expect. It's been such all those players leaving to go to Wales camp. It's always going to be a bit bitty and a bit disjointed. But it was nice to get that win in the end and to see Keelan Giles going over. What a what a player, you know?
Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think just going back to Hopkins, I thought he was. Yeah, I thought he was phenomenal. He was brilliant. He was the most. He made the most carries by a lot. He made most line breaks, and he made the most meters in the hand by a lot as well. Um, yeah, I think it's refreshing to see a player wants to get his hands on the ball, especially in those conditions, tough conditions. Um, he definitely has things to work on for me. I think I don't know what you lads thought, but I just thought Angus O'Brien, to be fair, has a massive, but probably one of the biggest in the league. But I did feel like at times we got bullied in terms of the kick battle. I felt like every time Angus O'Brien was putting it in behind Yestin, his distance on his kicks probably wasn't what a professional fullback should be getting. And that's obviously a work on. Um, but yeah, I did think his kick out of hand wasn't great. And I do think he missed a couple of 2-on-1s. But in terms of his raw ability and his endeavour, I thought he was standout for me. He probably still was man of the match. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh on him. But yeah, I think he's really really exciting and hopefully gives Jack Walsh a little bit of competition. Um, yeah, I thought Beddle was really good as well for Dragons. I know this is an Ospreys pod, but he made 25 tackles. The kid's everywhere. He's amazing.
Like a fridge. He's like a square, like he's just
Yeah.
like
Oh, I don't know how
anything.
tall he is either.
I think
Like,
he's only like 5'10" or 5'11.
Yeah, he's not a big guy. He's not massive. But I think he's still only sort of 20, 21.
But he's yeah, he tackles
he's
everything that comes his way, doesn't he? Absolutely loves melting people. Um,
he's he feels like a bit of an Ospreys player. To me, he feels like a traditional Ospreys back rower that's come through Swansea and hard as nails, gets into everything. Doesn't
but
matter
like
how big they are.
Feels very Jonathan Thomas.
under,
Yeah.
to be fair, Ospreys back row recently is under 6 foot and absolutely brilliant. And like you got
Yeah.
Jack Morgan and you got Harry Deeves as well. So,
100%.
and then obviously you've got Justin Tipuric, who I'm going to assume he was a genetic experiment. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I thought just going on from back rows, I thought Moriarty as well. I think Zach mentioned it on the group chat. I just thought he was so physical, and I know we'll come on to the England game, but I would, I just don't know why he's not in the Wales squad. I just think he's a horrible guy to probably play against. He's just into everything. Everything's so physical and hard.
God,
And
I loved watching him. I just love watching him.
yeah,
Just like on counter, like give him a run up. He's literally bowling two people over.
100%. And like you see players like that, and I think a lot of players with that physical, they give away a lot of penalties. He's squeaky clean. He does not give away loads of penalties. He probably did a bit when he was younger, but he's mature now and he knows where the line is. So for someone to be a back row to be that physical, that clean in terms of penalties conceded, I don't know. I just think I'd be a lot more comfortable knowing that he's coming up against Underhill and the England back row on the weekend.
I will just note that despite being a Moriarty and playing in Swansea, he hasn't actually got a card this season at all. Unlike
I,
another back row has picked him a squad.
yeah, very true. Yeah, 100%. And yes, we just yeah, on a bit of a back row theme. I thought Morse, even though he's an amazing prospect, um, he conceded three penalties, and I do think there's like just again, I would 100% have him in the Wales squad, and if it was up to me, he'd be on the bench on the weekend to come on. And he's probably for me around his age bracket, he's the best prospect in Wales. He's unbelievable, but you can't give away two, three, four penalties in any professional game as a back row. You need to know the line. And I think he'll probably work quite close with Tipuric in terms of ironing that out of his game. But no matter how good he is, I think he does still have like little elements of his game probably to work on.
I think, I think the main issue with Mortimer, he plays so far on the edge. He reminds me of sort of Mauro Itoje in the early parts of his career, where he was a bit of a penalty machine, but he was just being a prick constantly. And I think as he matures a little better, he'll get better at just sort of skating down that line.
Yeah,
It's just finding where that line is. I think it's an issue of quite a few young back rows in Wales, like sort of him, Alex Mann, Tame Plumtree, all of just like they all get quite excited almost,
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and then just take a step offside or they just go for a jackal that probably isn't on.
yeah. No, I totally agree with that. To be fair, but yeah, he's still an amazing prospect, isn't he? And I can't wait to see him play for Ospreys for years to come. Um, but yeah, it was yeah, as you say, it wasn't probably the most exciting, but the way I see it is it's 4 points on the board, and that Dragons team is going to cause a lot of teams a lot of issues. They were really hard to break down. They were very physical. I thought the Dragons were exceptional, and they were quite unlucky not to win the game. Um, so yeah, I think that's very much 4 points gained rather than anything else. And yeah, I think there's been a few complaints about the referee from the Dragons fans, and I didn't think the referee. I thought the referee was bad, but he was bad for both teams. I think he was poor on both sides, and I thought the scrum, for example, he refereed really poorly. I think the South African tight head who came on to replace their other South African tight head, um, it was constant. His bind was constantly like that. It's constantly like that. And it wasn't until the second half that the referee actually started picking up on it and penalising him for it. Um, I do think on the front row, I think if they'd kept their first choice front rowers fit and they hadn't had to replace them in the first 10 minutes, I think that might have been a different game. I think,
Definitely.
yeah, like Jordan Morris is a hell of a prospect, but Beaufort did a bit of a job on him, as he would with most young loose heads, to be fair.
To be fair, Reece Henry came on and just started killing people.
Absolutely love Reece Henry. I think if he could just stay fit, for me, he deserves the Wales cap.
I think in the summer, for this first part of this World Championship, whatever,
Yeah,
Nations League, who cares?
yeah,
I'm going to find a new thing to call it each week on principle. But surely he has to go. Surely he has to get capped. Because he's a genuine carrying option and a genuine scrummager. I
yeah,
think he made sort of 3 or 4 carries in the last 20 minutes against Dragons and just sort of got 5 meters over the game line each time.
yeah.
And his hands are delightful. God.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's so dexterous, and it's almost because of the way people see him, they probably don't expect it. So I feel like defenses kind of back off him a bit as soon as he starts like shimmying with the ball, and he makes so many meters ball in hand. I just think if he can get a run of fitness, I'd love to see him as I don't know who is the third Welsh tight end in the squad.
Currently, it's Sam Wainwright, Tom Francis, and Archie Griffin.
Well, there we are. I think he's miles ahead of Wainwright if he can stay fit.
Any other standouts for you boys? Obviously, Jack Walsh at 10 looked pretty okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, solid as always, isn't he? Mr. Dependable. Such a smart rugby player.
yeah.
Such a smart rugby player. Like, brilliant. Yeah.
For me, he's a Rolls Royce of a 10. He just looks, when someone just looks like got so much time on the ball, they look so comfortable and they just sort of glide. Yeah,
Uh,
I love watching Jack Wolf.
Gavin Henson. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it is Gavin Ensign vibes, to be fair. And yeah, I also thought, yeah, Cormac Foley, the Leinster line.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, someone produced from Leinster just has all the fundamentals down. Just basics, really good, passing sharp. And he picked up on our calls and got us going really well. So yeah, I thought he was good.
I'm gonna bring one more player who I think probably signing of the season to anyone in Wales. Ryan Smith. Oh my.
Yeah.
overseas waste of money.
I think just since he made his first start against Starters Blocked away in Edinburgh, he's just been immense, like constantly.
Fabulous player. Fabulous. Like
Yeah.
abrasive, good around the pitch. Just like what you want in a second row, really. Like everywhere all the time.
He looks he looks straight out of a Predator and that fights he's getting in as well. It's great.
Yeah. I'm almost amazed he hasn't got Australia caps. I know they've got people like Skelton and they have got a lot of quality. For me, he looks international class. We're playing against a lot of international quality teams and against a lot of international second rows, and I think he stood out in nearly all our games.
I think he's played for Australia a couple of times, but obviously no full caps, which is a shame. Anyone know if there's a Welsh grant? Anyone want to adopt him?
I don't know. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Why did he decide to come to the basket case that is Welsh rugby?
What must
Maybe.
he be thinking right now?
Hmm?
I genuinely.
Maybe maybe he always saw this as just like a year's kind of project to go back.
2 weeks,
You,
two
you
years,
know,
2 years in Swansea.
yeah, 2 years.
Good
You
excuse.
know, like sometimes players go over to like New Zealand and play for North Harbour or for a year just
Feels
to
like
like maybe that's
half penny at the Crusaders esque.
yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know. Surely there's better landing spots than Morriston.
From what the
Not that I
rumours
think
are.
Morriston's bad, Morriston's class, but before
I
anyone
just
comes at me.
he was playing for the Reds before, wasn't he? I'm just sort of imagining the difference between Melbourne and Bridgend. It's certainly, a
Look,
choice.
don't get Joe's ice cream in Melbourne. All right.
That's true.
So
That's true. That is true.
yeah.
um,
He might be a big ice cream fan. Who knows?
Yeah, that was it. Why did you sign for the Ospreys? Joe's ice cream.
just uh, just while we're on air, by the way, Ospreys have just released a statement.
Oh
The
dear.
players or the club?
The club, an official Osprey statement from the 4th of February.
Fucking hell, that's a first. Okay, carry on.
Right, it's probably going to be a nothing statement. I bet you it tells you absolutely nothing. But here we go. Lance Bradley, thank you very much. Here we go. Ospreys Rugby notes today's statement from Swansea Council regarding discussions on the future of regional rugby in Wales. As has been stated previously, Ospreys Rugby continues to operate as a professional club and is focused on supporting its players, staff, and supporters while competing in the URC under existing agreements. No decisions have been made regarding Ospreys' future past the 2026-27 season, and no statements have been made by Lance Bradley or anyone else associated with Ospreys which contradict that. Given the sensitivity of all these matters and the fact that they involve multiple parties and ongoing discussions, it it would be inappropriate for Ospreys Rugby to comment on interpretations of meetings, unfinalised proposals, or legal correspondence. Ospreys Rugby remains committed to constructive engagement with all stakeholders and will communicate directly and transparently when there is confirmed information to share.
All right, well, we can cut or start the podcast then. If I give you a short one.
It's,
Fuck off.
it's a statement.
Like,
Like
like,
it just feels like a nuh-uh.
Yeah.
no. What has he said there? He said that no one from the Ospreys is Abby Turney from is that associated with Ospreys? Is that the WRU? Like to me, that like so she could have said it. Just no one in the Ospreys did.
Yeah.
Like what a What a fucking pointless release of, oh, like, we haven't made a concrete decision by the end of the 26-27 season. It's like, what? Like, well, like, you've said nothing, but also kind of reinforced my opinion that what the council have come out and said is true.
Yeah.
Uh,
I was about to get on a pretty good mood. I just finished talking about the Dragons win, and
Hey,
I was about
lads,
to
I'm
say
the
some
only
Wales.
person in the world who reckons Wales are going to beat England on the weekend.
Yeah, right. Let's let's hear this. I want to hear this.
No, I'm interested now because I do think you might be the only person in Wales, yet alone the only person ever.
It's just everywhere, everywhere. Like English media going insane saying they're going to trounce us. Lost by 60 points in the doldrums. Everything's gone to shit. And I'm sitting here thinking, you know what? I just have a feeling. All right. Just got this feeling in me that Wales are going to turn up and do something. Uh, quite frankly, England aren't that good, right? No great shakes. Okay. That bench, I reckon I could have a go with them, quite frankly, you know. Uh, And no, I would love to say that there is some kind of like actual evidence of me thinking this, other than I woke up the other day and thought, wouldn't it be great? And then steadily got more and more excited, and everyone's written them off. Like that team has got some talent in it. And yeah, it's not great, and they have been shit, and everything tells me I'm wrong. But here's the thing. They've been written off already by everybody, which means they got nothing to lose. And so I'm like, do you know what? This could happen, you know. Everyone put a tenner on Wales to win.
Okay, I'm like confident we're gonna play well. I'm not that confident. Like, I think we'll give them a game. I think anyone in rugby who says we're going to lose by 50 points is quite frankly insane because it just feels like any time in this sort of adversity, start of a championship, the easiest game for us to get out for is always going to be England away. And which Wales team isn't going to show up to play England and try and batter them
Um,
physically, mentally?
did you watch last year?
Yeah, it doesn't count. There's still a Gatland team.
Yeah, good point.
An AI clone of Will Rowland's starting.
The ghost of the
I,
ghost of Will Rowlands.
I,
I
I'm
I
just
feel like we should have started with my prediction and then gone to Zach, and then would have got more and more positive. I feel like because we started so high with Jack,
No, no,
got
I'm
to
bringing
Zach,
you all
he's
along.
like,
I'm bringing you
in
all
with
along with me. I'm bringing you all along on the hype train. This is your opportunity to jump on board and like fully just embrace start the Six Nations and like these players that have probably not got a job past next year, like just turning
Wales.
up and
Wales by two. Intercept try to win it.
all I'm saying is there will be an emergency pod on Saturday if Wales win, and I will be steaming. Uh, and yeah,
I might
I'm
be in the
still
middle of a
gonna probably just slag out the WRU and be pissed off about everything. So, like, we,
winner.
see, yeah, I would be confident, right? But I just hate the squad that he's picked. Like,
mm,
if you could like tell me, right, so you got a front five of Nicky Smith, probably one of the best loose heads in the Prem, amazing. Lake, I'd say he's the on, he's a better hooker than the two England hookers, and he's in a prime age, whereas they're both aging. Then you go Thomas Francis, just come back from France. I've seen pictures of him in training. He looks trim. He looks good. He looks fit. He looks ready to go. Right. And then you go Dav Jenkins in Beard in the second row. I'm like, that's fine. That can match England, I think, especially with Toje on the bench. Fine. And then I get to the back row, and then I start getting angry because I look at the team he's likely to pick in the back row, and it's like, oh, I think he could end up going, sort of Man, Cracknell, Wainwright, or something like that, some sort of mixture of that. And I just think Cracknell, decent Prem player. For me, he's probably not quite international level. If he was English, he'd be the 31st choice back rower. Um, Man, I think he's got amazing potential. He's not big enough, not physical enough. He gets through loads of work, but it's not confrontational work like Moriarty does. It's sort of passive tackles and winding people up, and he's amazing at winding people up. Um, and Wainwright again, he'll carry all day, but again, there's only so much you can do. If you could go back row of Moriarty, Rafael, Wainwright, I'm starting to then think, you know what, Moriarty's not going to care who he's up against. He's going to be hammering whatever England player comes down his channel all day long. Rafael's one of the best turnover merchants in the Premiership. Amazing, and then you can get the best out of Wainwright. My worry is with the back row we've picked, we're not going to slow down the England ball. They're going to be playing with whatever tempo they want, and they've got players that can absolutely cut us up.
Yeah.
Um,
I think we're going to go for a seven, like an actual seven, not man at seven. I think either McLeod or Deves is going to start. Probably McLeod, based on vibes.
yeah, and that
Disappointing.
worries me as well because I just think McLeod's a good club player, and I may be sounding like a complete knobhead by saying that, to be fair, but I just think McLeod is a good club player.
Maybe. I think McLeod's a decent player. I do agree with you though, Josh. I think that squad for me, they've picked to expose people more to international rugby in a more structured environment than has been. And I think there probably would have been a massive benefit to have some of the old heads in there, like Jake Ball, like Ross Moriarty. But if the autumn's anything to go by, like these people become undroppable. Like look at Ben Thomas. Couldn't
Yeah.
even play himself out of the team and he clearly wasn't in form. Blair Murray is another one. And I'm worried. I'm really, really worried that we're gonna get to that game.
Oh no! If Blair Murray starts,
And
I
Blair
might
Murray's
like.
gonna be a fullback. And actually I don't really have too much of a problem with Ben Thomas at 12, to be fair, because he's been playing well for club. And it's gonna be the same back row as we had with Man, so on. And it's just not abrasive enough.
Yeah.
Um and I understand the desire to give these players more exposure. That makes sense to me. But I also think there's the other side of it, which is like getting some wins and some good performances and having some proper nasty professionals in there who've been there and done it might also be beneficial. But it doesn't really matter because we're gonna win
If we
on
win, I am
Saturday.
going to be so happy. Honestly, I'm so happy. I'm watching it with a couple of my English
What
friends, and I'll be so happy if we can win.
what would be a bigger upset if we won on Saturday or us against them in 2008?
Winning on Saturday, 100%.
Yes, Saturday, just because of how low we are right now.
There's good players in that team in 2008. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas now, like, there's good players. I actually think Wales do have pretty good players at the moment. I think Owen Watkin at 13, if he's not playing 13, he should play 13. I think that'll make a big difference to defense.
it will. My worry is if they play Ben Thomas, no more Kitten. For me, that lacks punch.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Eddie James and Owen Watkin.
Well, I just think that like playing them. Okay, so let me justify my decision here. I actually think that 10, 12, and 13 for England can be got at.
Yeah,
Like Freeman's not the biggest. He's good at running with the ball. If you can tie him up, run at um, you know, George Ford all day long.
yeah.
Like I don't think. Look, yeah, and this is part of me that thinks, I'm going to be interested to see Zamet and Fayro Boso. Um,
I think we can really target Harry Arundel.
yeah,
Like
like
I don't rate him at
so. I
all.
mean, I just think that there is. I'm not. Yeah, and I'm hoping, and one of my biggest hopes is England are going to this, you know, arrogant as they were in 2013 when they turned up and they'd already recorded videos of them winning Grand Slams and. and so on. Like, I mean, you know, everything has to align, but there's part of me that just feels like this isn't impossible.
I mean, it's definitely worth putting some money on it because I think yeah, I'm just looking at Bet365. There are other betting apps available. Um, and yeah, England are 30-point favourites and Wales are
I'm
18 to
telling
1.
you, I don't think it's going to be 30 points.
I think it's less than 10. Like less than 10 either way. It is going to be close. It's going to feel. It's almost going to. I feel like it's going to be like that 2024 game where we were winning for most of it and lost it in the last 20 because Ian Lloyd can't manage a game.
I was there for that.
I'm so sorry.
I know. I was sitting. It was my birthday actually, and I turned up, and it was the first time going to Twitter. My dad sent me this whole like text message about like keeping your head down, don't rise to the bait, just rub it in when you win, you know. So I sat sitting there, and I was wearing my Wales scarf, and there's people sitting next to me, and they're like, "Oh my God, there's a Welsh person next to us," and I'm like, "Oh no, I'm gonna get sticky." I was like, "You gotta be nice to me. It's my birthday. Gotta be nice to me." And like midway through the game. I think Alex Mann went up with a try, and the lady next to me, she like let out a little cheer, and I was like, "Are you Welsh?" She was with her husband who was talking to me, and she was like, "Yeah," and she showed me a little red dress she was wearing under her coat, and I was like, "Are you hiding it like it's a dirty secret in this Twickenham crowd?" But yeah, I still think the Wales should have had a penalty at the end of that game because George Ford definitely pushed.
Very
It must have
dire.
been Dyer, was it?
Yeah, dire.
In the air. He definitely pushed him. 100%. No one can persuade me any different. Would it have been soft? Maybe, but
I don't care.
okay.
See, I was driving back because I had a game that day. So I was listening to it on the radio, listening to Richie Reese, I know, on the radio on the way home. And I remember I turned it off after all I could hear was, "Oh, Euan Lloyd's tried to run it from his own line." And then he gets battered behind his own line, 5 metre scrum England. And then I think Ben Earl carries off the back and goes
Yeah,
straight over
yeah,
Lloyd, straight to
Go
score. I'm
down.
like, yeah, I can't listen to
yeah.
that.
England
No,
were down to 13 at that point. That was really
Ben Hill
sad.
picked it up and just carried it over like three people. It was the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Yeah, it was like, oh God.
I think the worst thing for me about watching England at the moment is having to watch Faye Boso and be like, what could it be?
Well, I'm hoping that there's all this talk of Jack Willis, is it Jack Willis? Tom Willis?
Yeah,
One,
Jack Wilshere, yeah.
both.
Jack Willis joining Ireland because he hates Steve Borthwick. You heard you here first. And I want to see how the English press react to that. Like, because I think that would be brilliant. Here you hear first, by the way. I wanted this for the rumor. Ollie Hassel-Collins gonna join Wales, defect, play for Wales. Becomes eligible in
I don't think he's
September.
that. I don't think he's that good.
Becomes eligible in September,
I
and
think he's also playing for England A against Ireland.
nope, nope. You heard it here first. This is my rumor. I'm starting it.
You're not sure. Sure. I don't think the England A game's a capture game. To be fair,
Is it not?
I don't think it is.
Well, there we go. Like,
He's basically what he's doing at the moment is he's keeping himself fit and sharp, ready to join
yeah,
Wales in
yeah,
September.
ready to jump ship.
I mean, I heard something from Gabe Hamer-Webb where he's talking to all the Leicester boys about, "Are you guys eligible for Wales? Do you all come play for Wales with me?"
Like, I love the idea that it's just like it's like going for a kickabout in the park, or like that's basically how someone got me to play for the Green Stars youth team. Like, I've heard you can run quickly. Do you want to come and play? Do you want to come and play rugby for the Stars? Like,
I also love the idea of Tommy Raffel being like, "Oh, amazing! I'll come." Oh, sorry, Tommy, you're not invited.
I've had a word with Steve. He don't like you, mate.
Sorry, mate. You can come to the next one.
Yeah, shit one that lad. The shit one. Like I know. Thought we could share a lift and everything. Happy Collins is coming though. He's in the back just to check it out.
Oh God.
All right. I don't think there's too much more to go through. Score prediction for the England game. Let's put our money where our mouths are. Jack, given you're gonna go high, let's start optimistic.
Right, Wales are going to win it with the last kick of the game. And to quote Liam Gallagher, it's going to be biblical.
Josh?
Uh, I'm going to go England by 30.
Yeah, well, that's probably going to be the closest one, but I don't like it. Don't like it. You really need to get ready on that Gloucester pot, mate.
Mhm.
I think I'm going to go England by 12.
These are both shy crack.
I tell you what, right? I've got a rogue prediction for the weekend. I think we'll get closer to England than Ireland will to France. That's my prediction for the weekend.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ireland currently don't have a front row, and
no.
they're playing against the French, so they might just try.
But hang on, I thought they had the BlackRock system and private schools, and they have this amazing conveyor belt of talent coming through.
I'm going to be very blunt here. Private schools do not produce fat lads.
No. You're
Like,
telling me the Irish private schools didn't produce James Lowe and Bundy Aki? I'm honestly shocked.
Yeah.
it's disturbing how they just couldn't get these two Kiwis into their private schools.
Oh yeah, and then Mac Hansen as well.
Don't forget
And
James and Gibson Park.
Hey, I'll have you know that Gibson Park goes way back
yeah.
in Cork. All right. A family name that goes way back in Cork.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We'll finish off then. Funny thing to happen this weekend in the Six Nations in general. Merry Sixmas and all.
Oh, it's definitely going to be my post-match video that I'm sending to you after Wales win. I'm apparently going to meet another mythical Welshman that lives in Maastricht as well. So that's gonna be fun. I've heard rumors from people going, you should go and watch this game with this other Welsh guy that I met. So there's a mythical Welshman out there that I'm apparently going to watch the match with.
It's going to be Jamie Roberts. What do you mean?
Do you think he's going to have to get further away than that, and need to avoid the booze? Um, yeah, that's my prediction for something
Yeah,
funny. When I'm proved to be right, that's going to be the funny bit.
Josh.
Radio silence I get from Jack when England put 40 points on us. Sorry, guys, I'm so negative tonight.
Someone needs to put Josh in front of free ball. I think France are going to do something really French. Just
Do you reckon the players are going to come out and say that Galtier should be burnt
sacked.
alive, like the French player did from Montauban?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what's going on there? This is so French. Making me think that this is making me think of the 2011 World Cup where they just all fell out with who was it? Was Sant-André in charge then?
Something like that.
Um and they just decided they weren't listening to him anymore, and he'd just be sitting in the dressing room. They'd have no tactics or anything. It's like, right, let's go and play. I would not. It just feels like it's going to end like that for France.
Yeah. Dupont is going to start a revolution. That's it.
They come out of Napoleon here.
My theory is that the reason why he's dropped Peno is he can't have too many Bordeaux players in the squad because he knows there'll be a revolt. So he's got to keep the balance between the Toulouse players and the Bordeaux players just right.
It's the Aldridge shout that gets me. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, unless it's something we don't know and he wants a rest or but
It's it's so French. It's just so French.
I don't know. I can't wait for it to implode midway through the tournament.
Like they're going to lose to Italy after bashing Ireland.
I
That's just the
just
rules.
Italy have a lot of injuries, don't they? Which is a shame because I thought Italy might go well.
I think Italy will still beat Scotland. and
Yeah.
us, mind, but like,
No, no, I'm telling you. No.
I think we're more likely to beat England than Italy. Quite frankly.
Right. I can't.
Yeah, I think that's all. We'll leave it for this week.
If we don't win a game this Six Nations, like I'm done. Like I'm done.
Oh, don't say that, Jack.
Like I can't. I've probably got some Irish in me somewhere.
All right, no, ending here. I'm not even entertaining the thought.
All right.
But yeah, let's leave it there for this week. By the time we upload, there'll be a new breaking story in Wales Online that we'll have to react to. So might as well let that come sooner rather than later. Thank you all for listening, watching. If you have enjoyed us ramble on about things that aren't going to happen and things that will happen for the last hour and a half, feel free to like the pod on whatever platform you're listening on and drop us a subscribe. We're nearly at 2,500 subscribers on YouTube, which is awesome, quite frankly. Apart from the other guys, good night.